Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view review for 2021. Overall, not a bad show, but overhyped by far. Buy-in pre-show starts us off. Matt Hardy comes out with Private Party, Blade and Bunny, and they reveal Blade is injured and won't be able to be in the Casino Battle Royal tonight, which isn't that big a loss because the Casino Battle Royal things are usually trash anyway. He's replaced by a member of Private Party, and Hardy will cut their fees if they help him win the match. Uh, a video package for Sheeta versus Britt Baker airs. Then the one pre-show match, and this is probably one of the better pre-show matches, certainly in AEW history by far, but also maybe in wrestling history in the last 20-25 years. Anyhow, NWA Women's Champion Serena Deeb defeats Riho in 14-13. Very good match. They performed chain wrestling early. Neither one gets a clear advantage. Riho wants to shake hands, but Deeb has no interest in this and slaps her across the face instead. Riho returns the slap. Deeb nails a couple of uppercuts. Riho avoids and hits a drop kick and goes for a crossbody, gets a near fall. Riho then goes for sunset flip. Deeb counters into Serenity Lock, and Riho gets to the ropes. Deeb then catches a kick in the middle of things and ultimately turned it into a dragon screw. Riho gets beat up some more with some uppercuts along the way before focusing the attack on the knee of Riho. Dee applies a guillotine choke over the ropes and has control of the match for the next little while, including a hanging neckbreaker for a near fall. Inverted gory special by the champion. Tries to go for superflex. Riho fights out of that and lands a double foot stomp. Hurts her own foot and knee in the process. Riho follows up with forearms and hits a Tiger fake kick for near fall. Then Riho couldn't follow up the attack. Deeb goes after an octopus and sets a jumping guillotine. Riho turns the guillotine into a Northern Lights suplex bridge for near fall and drapes Deeb over the ropes. Goes for a foot stomp on the apron. Deeb moves out of the way and hits a dragon screw over the top. Back in the ring, Deeb hits a twisting neck breaker for a near fall. Deeb hits a double leg dragon screw leg whip and then a stack up powerbomb for a near fall. Riho comes out of the Deeb Talks with a rising knee and dragon suplex. Follows up with a third diving foot stomp of the match. Gosh, too many of these. And she goes right to the back with this. Looks like a Mario Brothers jumping series. Anyway, Deeb rolls through and hits a meteor and locks on the single leg crab. Riho makes it to the ropes. Riho tries to fight off the attack. Deeb hits another dragon screw, and Riho fights out of the Deeb Talks and locks in a clutch for near fall. Deeb smashes Riho's leg into the canvas several times and puts on the Serenity Lock for the submission style victory. We go to the pay-per-view and Taz joins at the opener. Hangman Page defeats Brian Cage in just over 12 minutes. These two go nuts against each other for a while. Cage is out alone. Page is super over. I think it has a lot to do with being the first pay-per-view back because they haven't been booking him terribly well in the last few weeks. But Page is my pick for one of the guys to actually defeat the overbooked Elite and become the first homegrown AEW champion somewhere down the road. Cage goes for suplex. Page flips out of it and hits a lariat, follows by a clothesline, including a springboard. And then Page nails a tope dive to the outside. Cage catches him on a plancha and then catches him and tosses him into the ring post. Ouch. Back in ring, Cage beats Page down with several strikes and throws, and Page turns this into a crucifix bomb for a near fall. Bunch of clotheslines. Page clotheslines them both over the top rope to the floor. Page lands the moonsault to the outside. They fight on the top rope, and Page goes for Frankensteiner. Cage catches him and goes for a powerbomb, but Page adjusts and hits a Frankensteiner for near fall. Cage lands a thrust kick, tries to bring Page back into the ring. Hard way, but Page escapes and hits a discus forearm for the near fall. Cage then goes for the Deadeye and hits a ripcord elbow. Counter exchange. Cage hits a neckbreaker for near fall. Cage hits a series of strikes again and then drops Page over the ropes. Cage then suplex Page over the ropes onto the ramp. Ouch. Needless for the first match, but anyway. He brings Page back to the top rope with Avalanche F5. Page kicks out, thus killing the move. Cage is about to steal the buckshot lariat. Page scouts and hits an F5 for near fall. Overdone on too many moves. Cage avoids the buckshot and turns it into a German suplex powerbomb and a buckle bomb. Page then jackknifes Cage for a great near fall, but Cage comes back with a discus lariat and a Liger bomb for near fall of his own. Ricky Starks and Hook finally come out, setting up a series of many distractions throughout the night, and Starks passes the FTW championship to Cage. Cage torches it out of the ring and argues with Hook. Page takes advantage, hits the buckshot lariat for the win. Right guy won, but too many moves for the style here. After the match, Cage and Starks get in each other's faces. Cage shoves Starks and walks away. Don Callis joins the commentary team for the second match of the night, which is the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Young Bucks, the Jacksons versus, with Brandon Cutler, by the way, defeating Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston in just over 21 minutes. Again, another match that goes way too long, and honestly, I don't think the right guys won. I understand Moxley's going away to aid his wife in having a baby, but at the same time, I think there's more money in Moxley and Kingston right now than there are on the overpushed, supposed caring about wrestling, but really only caring about getting themselves over Bucks. Anyway, Moxley and Kingston attack during the Bucks entrance. They brawl on the floor. Moxley chugs a beer with the fans, and then Cutler tries to spray cold spray on Nick. Moxley and Kingston nail Cutler with a half and half. Clothesline suplex called the Violent Crown. Match gets underway. Kingston beats Nick with knees and other strikes. Nick and Kingston go at it. Kingston hits an STO, and then Nick fights out of the chops with a thumb to the eye, allowing the Bucks to take advantage. Several double teams on Kingston. Bucks show off until Kingston flapjacks Nick over the top rope. Matt tags in and goes after the leg of Kingston, sending Moxley into the barricade for his trouble. Matt then referred to Super Dragon with the fake hot tag, complete with clotheslines and a 10 count of right hands. This is just indie goofiness, which has no place on a national product. Moxley trips Matt up with and clotheslines him on the floor. Nick tags in, but Kingston catches him with an exploder, allowing a tag into Moxley. Moxley hits the exploder with a shotgun dropkick before flattening the Bucks with a bunch of suplexes and a sit-up piledriver for a near fall. Moxley locks on the Bulldog choke, but the other Buck breaks it up. Moxley hits a double DDT on both Bucks. Carl Anderson walks out. Gallows tries to surprise Kingston. Kingston takes him out with a running splash. Kazarian runs out, having nothing to do with the match, and hits Anderson with then Matt sprays cold spray in Moxley's eyes. Moxley kicks out, and Moxley is busted open on the forehead. Blood this early in the show doesn't make sense either. Young Bucks nail Moxley with an indie taker on the ramp. Needless high spot. Then they decide to retain by countout. Moxley rolls into the ring in the last minute. Matt works over the cut on Moxley's forehead, and then Nick is tagged in, hits a senton for near fall. Young Bucks continue cutting off the ring on their opponents, and then Bucks go for the spear that would be like Roman Reigns. Moxley fights out and hits a backdrop suplex, allowing a tag to Kingston. Kingston hits both Bucks with right hands and a belly-to-belly suplex on Nick, and hits a DDT on Matt. He locks in the Kawada stretch plum, and it does not allow Nick to break it up, and then hits a bunch of chops followed, and then Nick hits a kick to the knee of Eddie Kingston, which has already been worked over earlier in the match. Bucks regain control with an assisted slice bread for near fall. Nick goes for senton. Kingston gets the knees up and tags Moxley in, and immediately runs into stereo super kicks. They go for more bang for your buck. Moxley fights out and locks on rear naked choke, killing the hold because it's the second time he's used it in the mat, and he can't even beat two, gas station attendant looking guys. Nick rolls out of the choke and Matt hits a 450 splash for near fall. Kingston then pulls Nick off the apron. Meltzer driver attempt, but Nick trips up Moxley on the violent crown attempt, but then Moxley tries to block the Meltzer driver again. I hate the name of the move, but anyway, used one of the Bucks, but I gotta grab my phone, so we'll be right back. 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. And again, you have to see the Bucks for what they really are, and that is a group of guys who think they are more important than they actually are. Yes, they got to deal with Hot Topic because they hit with a demo for a little bit, and I got to grab my phone again, and off we go. But again, it comes down to them finding an investor who believes in their version of wrestling, nothing more, nothing less, and for better or worse, conning that individual into believing they have answers that they really don't have. The lack of growth within AEW beyond the original first show they've done proves that. Anyway, and I love AEW, don't get me wrong. Anyway, so Moxley ends up running into some super kicks, and he gets hit with more bang for your buck. Moxley fights out, locks on the choke, and Matt hits a 450 splash for near fall. Kingston pulls Nick off the apron and does the whole Meltzer driver thing, which I think I talked about before I went to take my work call. Moxley then catches a super kick, but Nick flips into the paradigm shift and flips out of the paradigm shift, locks in a sharpshooter. Kingston breaks out, and bunch of moves, backdrop driver. Moxley hits paradigm shift on Nick, but Matt breaks up the pin. Nick kicks Kingston's leg, but Moxley locks in sleeper. Matt comes in, and then there's more super kicks. Moxley then comes back with a double clothesline. Numbers advantage too much. Bucks hit a bunch of super kicks, and Moxley fires back with blood on his face. Meets some double super kicks. Kingston tries to get involved. Bucks kicked his leg. Super kick him. Bucks hit the BTE trigger. Moxley shrug it off. And then they hit 4 more. So they hit 5 of their finishes to take out Moxley. This is just ridiculous. Anyway, we move on, and 2 injury replacements are announced for the Casino Battle Royal. Blades being replaced by Serpentico. QT Marshall replaced by Aaron Solo. Paul Wright joins commentary, and they've wasted him because he's on an internet show. It is what it is. Jungle Boy wins the Casino Battle Royal 23-29. Crowd is into Jungle Boy, and he is a guy that I think they could push to the next level. Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dustin Rhodes, and Max Caster, who raps his normal rap, gets into the ring. Caster eliminates Sydal within the first minute or two. Christian eliminates Caster, and then we go to the entrance of Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Preston Ten Vance, Nick Canamaroto, and Serpentico. Notice people coming in 5s, as in the 4 suits of the card deck, and then we go there. Hardy and Cassidy Attack 10, furthering the Dark Order Hardy family office storyline. 10 fights them off, power bombs Cassidy off onto the ramp. Ouch, useless spot. Luther comes out and helps Serpentico, tosses him into the ring. 10 immediately kills Serpentico with a rebound German suplex, eliminating him in the process. 10 and Kanemaru face off in the middle of the ring. 10 hits a bunch of clotheslines, but Kanemaru cuts him off with a spear and then tries to eliminate 10. Dustin shows up and eliminates both of them. Then Dustin gets crushed with a cowbell by Nick Kanemaru, and Hobbs eliminates Dustin. Christian hits kill switch on Hobbs. Doesn't eliminate him. Hardy and Christian face off. Cassidy attacks Christian from behind. Next, we have the next group of guys. Varsity Blondes, Colt Cabana, Anthony Bowens, and Penta. Penta has a Joker costume on. Blondes attack Hardy and Cassidy. Cabana Bowens hit a DDT. Penta goes nuts on everyone and leads the crowd in a Spanish chant. And then Cassidy eliminates Cabana from behind, saving Hardy. Blondes hit a heart attack, eliminating Bowens. Hardy eliminates Griff Garrison, but camera misses this. That's because they're trying to do too much. Fans chant Brian Pillman. Pillman's being wasted by this company. Jungle Boy, Mark Quinn, Aaron Solo, Evil Uno, and Lee Johnson. The last one's in. Jungle Boy faces off with Penta. Takes him down with a sling blade and tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Private Party eliminates Pillman. After the gin and juice, Johnson eliminates Solo, and Hardy eliminates Johnson. Penta eliminating Uno. Jungle Boy eliminates Penta with a running Rana, which is a decent spot. Hobbs re-enters the fray, goes nuts on everyone, including a spinebuster on Cassidy, who streams his head off in the process. Christian avoids corner splash and eliminates Hobbs. Hardy then is left with both members of Private Party and Christian and Jungle Boy for their trouble. Joker is Leo Rush, who I guess is signed with New Japan. He enters with crossbody on Cassidy and a reverse Rana on Quinn. Rush hits a Spanish fly on Cassidy, but gets cut off by Hardy. Hits a stunner on Hardy after rebounding off the ropes. Rush eliminates Private Party. Hardy runs in and eliminates Rush, so he has a short night. Hardy hits side effect on Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy comes back with a rebound lariat. Jungle Boy eliminates Cassidy. Hardy inadvertently eliminates his own tag team partner, goes for dropkick on Jungle Boy. Hardy begs Christian for help, but Christian dumps him over for the elimination. Christian and Jungle Boy go back and forth. Christian goes to the kill switch. He pushes Jungle Boy into the ring post on the apron, but Jungle Boy rotates around and backdrop Christian to the floor for the win. Christian goes on to support the win here. Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus both come out to celebrate, and Christian tells Jungle Boy to make the most of the championship opportunity. And then we go to American Dream Dusty Rhodes with Arn Anderson defeating Anthony Ogogo with QT Marshall in 11 minutes. Not exactly the best match of the bunch, but it's here. I think Jungle Boy winning the Battle Royal is good for business. I think they need to get the belt off of Kenny Omega and establish Internet Darlings sooner rather than later if they really want to build a company that lasts. Anyway, American Dream, Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson defeating Anthony Ogogo with QT Marshall 11:02. This is Ogogo's first real match, Pinocchio, and it comes across. He throws right hands early, catches Cody early, but Cody catches the first punch. He hits the drop-down right hand, and he gets hit with a body shot and Olympic slam from Ogogo for near fall. Cody comes back with a snap power slam. Ogogo stomps on Cody's midsection. Cody avoids another punch, and Ogogo rolls to the floor and intercepts a dive with a right hand of his own. Back in the ring, Ogogo hits a German suplex and continues the attack on Cody and his midsection. Ogogo then distracts the referee, allowing Marshall to sneak in and smack Cody with a cheap shot. And then Cody regains control for a minute, but Ogogo turns a fireman's carry into a near fall. Cody hits a knee strike. Both men regroup. Cody picks up Ogogo on the top rope. Ogogo lands a right jab, sending Cody to the mat. Ogogo then goes to the top to hit a frog splash. For near fall, Cody comes back with a drop kick and locks in the figure four. Ogogo tries to punch out of it with a left jab, gets a 2 count, and allows Ogogo to reverse the pressure a little bit. Cody is surprised by Ogogo going for the crossroads, but Ogogo lands another body shot and goes for the cover. Cody is under the ropes, shoulder hang, neck breaker, gets a 2 count. Ogogo goes for Governor's Hammer, but Cody turns it into a vertebrae breaker for a win. Not a fan of this. I mean, it was fine for what it was, but a new guy doesn't deserve a pay-per-view match of this caliber with a guy like Cody, who should be and could be used much better. Video shown of Miro attacking Jake Roberts earlier during the weigh-in for Shida and Baker. Roberts doesn't come out with Archer. Archer attacks Miro before the bell. This is the TNT Championship match. They go 10 minutes. Archer does the rope walk moonsault. Miro kicks out at 1, rolls to the floor, so that basically kills Archer's rope walk moonsault. Archer chokeslams Miro through a table at ringside. Miro rolls out to the floor. Archer tries to pounce him. Miro catches the attack and sends him over the barricade into the fans in the front row. Back in the ring, Miro continues his beatdown. Archer explodes with a crossbody. Miro comes back with a spinning heel kick. And then he hits several midsection kicks. Archer catches a ripcord clothesline and a black hole slam for a near fall. Archer then climbs the ropes, goes for a moonsault, but Miro avoids it and hits a Samoan drop for a near fall. Miro gets up in the corner. Jake Roberts comes out with what is supposed to be a snake. Miro beats up Roberts and tosses the bag up the ramp. He goes to continue his attack on Roberts, but is cut off with a choke slam from Archer. Archer sets him on the top rope, and they exchange slaps. Miro fights out of the blackout and kicks Archer's legs. Archer hits a pounce and re-enters the ring. Miro kicks the ropes so that Archer is low blowed and gets crushed with a suplex and kick. Miro locks on the game over and lands some knee strikes to Archer's spine. And then they go back to the game over for the referee stoppage. They return to Chicago for All Out in September. Then we go to the Women's Championship match, something I was actually looking forward to. Shida and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Match had some clunky spots, but the right person won, and that's what really matters, at least to me. They exchange strikes early. Shida lands knee strikes. Britt goes for the lockjaw. Shida comes back, and Baker rolls out of the way of her offense. There's a cradle exchange, both women getting a bit of an advantage with a series of 2 counts. Baker avoids dropkick, rolls out to regroup. With Rebel, she battles Shida into following her and catches her with a kick when Shida re-enters the ring. Baker tries to maintain control. Shida hits and sends Baker to the floor. Shida then gets tossed into the barricade on the outside. Is set up for the rising knee with the chair. Turns around and hits a crossbody on both Baker and Rebel on the outside. Baker regains control and brings Shida back into the ring. Baker hits curve stomp and puts on the glove for the lockjaw. Shida rolls out. Baker hits a butterfly suplex for near fall. Shida avoids that, but is sent face first into the corner with a face buster for a near fall. Shida staggers off some right hands and comes back with a Thez press. Shida lands a bunch of knee strikes in the corner and a vertical suplex for a 2 count. Knee strike to the back of Baker's head, gets 2 more. They trade some more strikes. Baker hits a fisherman neck breaker for a near fall. Shida then avoids curve stomp and goes for a stretch muffler. Baker gets out of that again, and then Baker comes back with a thrust kick and a sling blade. Air raid crash followed for near fall. Tries to apply the lockjaw. Shida comes back. And Baker transitions into a crossface. Shida rolls through, and Baker is forced to relinquish the hold again. Shida hits a hard German suplex and a running elbow for a near fall. They fight on the top rope. Baker escapes momentarily. Baker then brings Shida in hard way with a suplex for near fall. Baker then comes back with a roll up for another near fall. Shida kicks out, locks on the stretch muffler. Reba distracts, uses the crutch. Shida follows up with a Falcon Arrow for a good near fall of her own. And Rebel gets sent away. Baker uses distraction to hit Shida with the belt and hit a curve stomp for another near fall. Baker goes for the lockjaw, but Shida rolls into an escape. Shida comes back with a jumping knee, and Baker rolls Shida up with a crucifix for a 2 count before locking in the lockjaw for the win of the championship. Post-match, Tony Schiavone goes to join Baker's post-match championship celebration. Before the next match, video played of Darby Allin and Sting in a convertible. Sting says it's showtime, and this is Sting's first live match in 6 years. Lots of fun here. Allin takes out Ethan Page with a dive before the bell. Sky suplex Sting on the ramp, but Sting pops up and no-sells it. Not sure a 62-year-old man should be doing that, but Page lands a diving crossbody on, or Sting lands a diving crossbody on both opponents. This is pretty awesome. Bell finally rings. Allin and Sky are in the ring. Allin and Sting work together. Sting uses his partner as a battering ram, and Sting hits a running bulldog. They isolate Sky. Bunch of frequent tags. Allin locks on an arm bar. He goes for the rope walk arm drag, but Page gets out of it. Sky and Page take control at this point. Sky and Page beat down Allin, tossing him all over the place. They go after his midsection, make fun of Sting for a while. Page press slams Allin right into Allin's family at ringside. Crazy spot. And Page goes for the Ego's Edge. Allin locks in a sleeper and hits the over-the-top stunner, allowing him to reach Sting for a tag. Sting runs wild on Sky. Clotheslines, hits a Stinger splash on both opponents, and hits a code red on Page for near fall. People chant, "You still got it" at Sting, and at 62 he certainly does. Allin goes top rope, but Sky takes him down. Page attacks Sting from behind. Page then hits an inverted Ego's Edge on Allin onto Sting, but Allin fights out and follows up. Sting locks on the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting isn't legal, so Allin applies an armbar. Sky then manages to re-enter the fray and gets a heel hook on Allin. Page and Allin are locked in submissions, and they go after each other's eyes and Sting. And Sky tag in and exchange punches. Sky tries to chop down Sting. Sting fires up. Sky avoids Stinger splash. Sky goes for slingshot cutter. Sting counters it and hits the Scorpion death drop for the win. On pure energy, this might have been the best match of the night. Then we go to Don Callis joining commentary for the what I thought was too long AEW World Championship 3-Way. Kenny Omega defeats Orange Cassidy and Pac. 26-56, way too long. Pac goes after Omega right in the beginning and escapes to the rope. Pac surprised Cassidy with a forearm. And then Omega downs Pac with a shoulder block. Pac comes back with a nip up and a bicycle kick, and they both do a double down off a series of cross bodies. Orange goes to put hands in his pockets, but hit a Rana on both opponents. Follows up with a dive onto Pac and a swinging DDT on Omega for near fall. Orange goes for the orange punch. Omega counters, and Pac took Orange down with a Rana of his own, and then an Asai moonsault from Pac follows soon thereafter. Pac then climbs the ropes and leveraged Orange with a missile dropkick. He does the same to Omega, and then another dropkick where one leg hits each opponent. Omega counters into the You Can't Escape on Pac, making sure to land the backstabber on Orange in the process. Then we go to Omega landing a bunch of chops on Pac. Pac comes back with some forearms. Omega kicks him in the corner, and then Orange surprises Omega with a near fall of his own for a 2 count. Omega cuts Orange off with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Second backbreaker from Omega gets a near fall again. Omega tries to beat Orange down with some forearms to the back. Pac pulls him to the floor. Omega hits a baseball slide on both guys. Omega then hits a Terminator dive on both opponents. Back in ring, Orange counters a suplex into a stunner. Cradle exchange, multiple near falls. Pac comes out with a 450 splash on both opponents. Omega crushes Pac with a Snapdragon suplex before doing 2 more to Orange Cassidy. Omega calls for V-triggers and hits one on Orange. Pac avoids his and flattens Omega with a German suplex. Omega then uses Orange to run interference as Pac hits a kick on Orange, and Omega is down. And then comes back, hits Pac with a lariat. Omega hit a V-trigger on Orange before going for an avalanche dragon suplex. Orange powers out and puts his hands in his pockets, blocking the suplex. Pac pops up and lands an avalanche release German on Omega. Orange hits hands in the pocket senton on Pac on the floor. Ouch, way too many risks. He nips up. Omega boots Orange and hits the J Driller for a near fall. Pac then goes for a springboard, but Omega cuts him off with a one-winged angel positioning, but Pac tries to fight out. Omega turns it into a German suplex with a bridge. Omega goes after Cassidy and then stretched him with a series of knees and other striking maneuvers. Orange then puts his hands up and into his pockets and collapses from exhaustion. Omega then tries to pin Orange, but Pac enters the fray, leading to a strike exchange. Orange comes up into a Michinoku driver position on Omega, but Pac hits Orange with a brainbuster for a near fall. Pac then perched Orange on the top rope for a superplex. Omega interrupts and puts Pac in an electric chair. Omega climbs and goes for an avalanche one-winged angel, but Pac turns it into a sunset bomb for an avalanche falcon arrow. Orange runs in, tries to steal the pin. Omega kicks out, probably the best near fall of the match right there. Pac and Orange face off. Center ring with Pac angry that Orange tries to steal that pin. Orange then hits the fake-looking kicks. Pac low blows him. Omega avoids a black arrow and sends Pac up for the one-winged angel. Pac locks on the brutalizer. Orange comes back with an orange punch on Pac and the beach break on Omega for another near fall. Orange catches another low blow attempt from Pac and fights out a powerbomb landing orange punch on both opponents. Callis then is worried Leaves commentary. Orange hits the beach break on Pac. Callis pulls the official out of the ring, and then goes for top rope, fights on Omega, but Pac catches diving DDT and locks on the brutalizer. Omega tries to break it up, but Pac wouldn't let go. Omega attacks the official and laid out Pac with the belts. Orange pops up and takes Omega out with an orange punch, and then Aubrey Edwards comes in for the pin. Omega kicks out at 2, locks in a crucifix pin, and wins to retain the title. Way too many spots. Goofy as could be. Can't believe people like this style because it's so contrived. It's athletic, yes, but it's dancing. It's ballet. It's not wrestling, and it frustrates me that this is considered main event style in 2021. AEW announces Full Gear for Saturday night, the 6th of November in St. Louis. Tony Schiavone announces that Mark Henry is an analyst for AEW, the TNT show Rampage, starting in August. Dynamite this week on Friday. Dustin Rhodes, Nick Kanemaru in a bull rope match. Young Bucks, Pac, and Penta. Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson versus Marshall and Ogogo, and the championship celebration for Britt Baker. Then we go to, in 2 weeks, Omega and Jungle Boy for the championship. Inner Circle repelled down from advertisement board with Judas playing as we go to the main event, the Stadium Stampede, which is Inner Circle, Jericho, Hager, Santana, Ortiz, and Guevara defeating the Pinnacle, MJF, Wardlow, Dax and Cash, and Shawn Spears. Inner Circle, if they lose, have to break up. MJF is alone on the football field. He escapes into his limousine. Inner Circle tries to go after him, but it's a trap, and the Pinnacle rolls up. There's a ring in the middle of the football field. Guevara misses a shooting star press, running into a blue thunder bomb from Spears. MJF emerges from the limousine. Jericho's there, and they go off on one another. Jericho still has a cast on with the arm brace. MJF runs away after using a fire extinguisher. Jericho is running soon thereafter. Jericho and MJF brawl into some offices. Jericho stuffs MJF into a trash can. MJF throws coffee at Jericho and attacks him with a telephone and a megaphone and hits him with a sheet pan. They brawl into another office. The coaches for the Jacksonville Jaguars are there. One of them hands Jericho a laptop, and he hits MJF. And then Jericho puts MJF through a table, and there's a quote of an expletive from one of the coaches. MJF crawls up to the film room. Jericho pushes him outside. Cameras cut to Hager and Wardlow. They brawl in the backstage area. Wardlow tries to lock Hager in a walk-in freezer. Wardlow uses plastic containers, and then they brawl through the freezer. Hager grabs an advantage, locking a hidden arm choke on. Wardlow avoids the attack and drives Hager repeatedly into a cabinet. Hager then throws some interesting sign language towards the camera and tackles his opponent through a wall. Guevara is looking for Spears, who's in a giant room filled with a bunch of chairs. Guevara lands a Superman punch. Spears comes back with a knee lift, and Guevara backflips out of an attack using a wall for help before nailing a kick from the top of a forklift. Spears catches a crossbody and sends Guevara lawn dart style into a nearby door. Spears locks on to use a chair, but Guevara drives him into a scissor lift. They both go for electric cords. Guevara gets the advantage there, choking Spears out. Guevara climbs and looks for a dive. Spears moves out of the way and caught him with a ladder. Spears puts him on handcuffs and cuffs him to some nearby shelves. And Spears runs away. Guevara finds bolt cutters somehow. Anyway, all of this is so contrived it's not even funny. Santana and Ortiz are in a bar and they fight with FTR and Tully. The bar breaks out into a fight and they break. Santana and Ortiz breaking bottles over people's heads. They look at DJ Conan. He changes the music. Two teams begin to brawl. Trash can lid shots. Tully tries to attack Santana with a pool cue. Conan intervenes in that. Two tag teams brawl. Ortiz beat Harwood, but interrupted by Wheeler, who nails him with bottles. Santana enters the fray, pushes Wheeler into an elevator with the door closed. Wardlow and Hager are returned to here. Wardlow has control and uses a tackling dummy to surprise Wardlow, but Wardlow hops up on an ATV and Hager hits a low blow and chokeslams Wardlow through some shelf units. Again, this is just so goofy. Jericho and MJF continue to brawl. MJF punches a cardboard cutout of Shad Khan and acts like it's the end of the world. Jericho uses a weapon and then staples a thank you message to MJF's forehead. MJF comes back with a right hand, a pile driver on Jericho on a table, but Jericho kicks out. MJF picks up a hammer and tries to whack Jericho in the arm with it, but Jericho surprises him with a trash can shot. Jericho grabs Floyd the Bat, which just happened to be there, and then tosses MJF through a glass door. Spears is happy with his issue, but he's run away by a motorcycle club supporting the inner circle. Jericho pulls MJF through the live crowd. Finally, MJF is busted open, and Jericho then drops him groin first onto the railing. MJF comes back, and he's about to dump Jericho off a high railing. Jericho hits him with a spotlight and power bombs him through a structure. Crowd pops for that. Guevara comes back and runs over Spears on a golf cart, and he hits Spears and gets him back to the ringside area. They brawl in the ring. Spears cuts a springboard attempt off with a chair shot. Spears tells Guevara you should have stayed down. Guevara gives him some sign language. Spears crushes Guevara with a chair shot for a near fall. Spears then sticks chair in the corner. Guevara hits the go to the hospital. Then curve stomps Spears with the chair. Guevara climbs to the top rope. Hits a 630 senton splash for the win. Inner Circle celebrates with their music, and that's the close of the pay-per-view. Overall, not a bad show, but at the same time, way too long and way too spotty. We'll be back with more right after this.